3D Newsbite.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Adolph. I have with me Jake
Howdy, folks.
and Krista.
Hello.
And today we're talking about a new Marvel trailer that came out, Black Widow. So, Jake, how did you think of this Black Widow trailer?
Even though everything in it is stuff I've seen before in the trailer, this worked very well. I was very excited. I was like, wow, I want to see this movie. I mean, it was just action-packed. It told you a lot what's going on. You got a sense of the scope of the movie. And you want to know, okay, why is Widow jumping out of a plane without a parachute?
Krista, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
I mean, honestly, I really don't care. At this point, Scarlett Johansson is so annoying in my brain that, I don't really.
So, the interesting thing about this, I feel like Black Widow, this trailer doesn't, specifically say, this is a prequel, this is a prequel, this is a prequel. It kind of just assumes that you're smart enough to think that. Am I right, Jake, or no?
Yeah.
And it takes place, I guess, the 80s or 90s, 80s? What do you think?
Well, there's one scene in there that's definitely looks like it's taken place in the 90s. Because, they use the de-aging tech on her. I mean, wow. That's some of the best de-aging tech use I've seen. And that's definitely predates the first Hulk movie in the MCU. It looks like it's about the time of when Captain Marvel takes place, is my guess. But I don't know why that scene is in there, because everything else looks like it takes place between Civil War and Infinity War.
So this movie is weird. So Christy, you may not know some backstory here because you're not a super Marvel fan like us. So originally people were wanting to have a Black Widow movie about 10 years ago.
Yeah. The reason they wanted a Black Widow movie was because she was literally the only female superhero at the time. And they were like, come on, we need a female superhero movie.
And they said no because the toys won't sell.
It's Ike Putterman. Let's put it on whose fault it is.
And that story basically is like, nah, we'll just leave her alone. That's fine. And, the thing is, the toys, I think they really underestimate collectors and people wanting to have a complete set. And they're like, oh, the boys don't want to play Black Widow. I don't think boys care that much. She's pretty badass. So
yeah. I mean, how many video games have female protagonists and guys play it without blinking an eye?
I mean, it was always just credit. It was just really bizarre that all the other Avengers had their own backstory movies, and Black Widow, all we got of her backstory was a couple minutes in the Avengers, and it's that's not. You need more.
She was in a little bit of Iron Man 2, but yeah, the point is taken. And the same thing with Hawkeye. Hawkeye is going to get a TV show of it, but that's way late, as well. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm totally fine with this movie. It should have released right after Iron Man 2, I think. Jake, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, but Kevin Feige didn't have complete control. He had to get they had to get rid of when Disney bought them, Disney had to restructure them, and they took their sweet time doing it.
So who's that red guy in the red suit? I don't know that much of
that's Red Guardian. He's kind of the Russian version of Captain America.
Does he actually have super strength and stuff or not?
Depends on which version. Some versions he's got the Russian super soldier serum, and some he's just well trained. And in the comics, he's married to Natasha Romanoff, but I doubt that's the fact. I doubt that's going to be that way in the movies, but you never know. He also they might switch it up, and he's married to the other Black Widow. Or jokingly called Blonde Widow.
Now, Black Widow is not really like a. It's kind of like a title that you earn, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, like a Bond, like a 00 agent in Bond.
So there's actually references to Black Widow in the awesome, underappreciated, not Captain Marvel TV show,
Carter.
Agent Carter TV show. Yeah, you're right. I really like that. It's kind of sad that now it's on Disney Plus, but for the longest time you couldn't stream it anywhere, and they kind of ended season 2 with not really a cliffhanger, but kind of a cliffhanger, and they're kind of setting up the Black Widow stuff in there, and it's kind of sad that didn't get followed through. So maybe it'll connect to that TV show more. What are your thoughts, Jack, on that idea?
I'm thinking once whatever they get their schedule, everybody's schedules cleared, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a follow-up to Agent Carter on Disney Plus.
So, we know the general range here. We don't know who the villain is, or do we know who the villain is, or is it just like a spy story where you're getting to know who Black Widow is? I'm kind of confused there.
Well, this is just a teaser showing you the action and giving you broad strokes, not really telling you anything. I mean, you just basically get to see that that with all the different outfits she's wearing in this trailer, it's looking like Disney's planning to make up for the lack of Black Widow toys.
Now this comes out May 1st, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed up to April.
Yeah, I heard April 30th. I heard May 1st, and we don't know yet if it's 3D. The trailer doesn't say anything. The poster doesn't say anything, but it's safe to assume that, I think.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe assumption.
Now, do you think Hawkeye will be in this movie?
Yeah. I was surprised we didn't see him in this trailer, but we did get to see Taskmaster.
Now, Hawkeye, there's a past there with Black Widow that's referenced every once in a while in different Avengers movies, but we don't know what they're referring to.
Budapest.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're gonna get the Budapest backstory because they kept cutting back to shots of the city of Budapest.
So that's good to know what they're finally talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the trailer, David Harbour, he's a notorious scene stealer, and he pretty much stole the trailer with his fat man flexing. I mean, if that's what being fat looks like, pass the junk food over. I mean, wow. I mean, they were great scenes, and those eyeball tattoos on his pet. Oh my God, I about died laughing. It was hysterical.
It is interesting to see like Natasha have a family, quote unquote family, that's not the Avengers, and to see basically before Avengers, and you really get to know her. I'm excited for it. It looks cool.
Yeah, I'm just worried about this having somewhat the Solo effect, because I think one of the things that hurt Solo's box office was, other than the fact that it wasn't Harrison Ford, is that the Han Solo story was already told and over because they had killed him off. Spoilers! In the previous Star Wars movie. So a lot of people would be like, why? And I'm afraid that may hurt this movie as well. They may feel like it's not continuing the story forward. But it didn't hurt Captain Marvel's box office, even though it was set in the past. It did move the story, because at the CCXP, Kevin Feige was saying, even though this movie was mostly set in the past, it does move the MCU forward. So if they can convince audiences of that, they probably have themselves another hit on their hands.
Yeah, and I feel like at the very least, Scarlett Johansson is in this. It's not another actress playing her. They could have done that, and that would have been really, really bad to have, a younger version of her, a different actress, because it's supposed to take place in the past, but they're not doing that, and it's before the best. So
I do feel like culturally, it has kind of missed the mark just because people wanted it, 10 years ago. And like, it's so late to the game that I don't know it would have the impact as it would have if it actually came out early on in the MCU.
I mean, just think of all these crappy female spy movies that were rushed out. Like Red Sparrow. I mean, come on. The only reason they were made is because there was a demand for a Black Widow movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if you're going to reference the infamous line from Red Sparrow about going to horror school. If you haven't seen it, it won't be that funny, but if you have, God, that movie's a wreck.
All right, so that's going to be it for our discussion on Red Sparrow. No, not Red Sparrow. Black Widow.
Black Widow. And training in the Red Room.
Yeah. So it should be fun. Nice thing to look forward to for 2020. That's it for us. Okay, before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, David and Mr. Bengal5 for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. You can find us, 3dor2d.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and so much more. Just look for 3D or 2D. You can also send us your listener mail. Our email address is email3dortwood@gmail.com. Links are in the description. Thank you for listening and or watching. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.